This is not a normal podcast. Look around. We're on an island in the James River in downtown Richmond. Sharps Island, it's called. People camp here, fish here, party here. For over 200 years, Richmonders have built structures on this island. Inevitably, those structures were washed away, but the Richmonders, like myself, keep coming back, keep building, trying to gain a foothold. Why? For us, the water that surrounds Sharps Island isn't a barrier, it's a threshold, a doorway to a magical place. This acre of rock and sand surrounded by the city, yet somehow completely secluded. On this podcast, our guests have to get in the boat and leave the world behind. I hope you'll come with them. Are you guys Southampton people?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Whoop. Are we gonna hit?
Oh, sorry.
Nope.
All right, we'll come this way.
Which way?
Keep going straight. You're good.
Hi.
We're almost there.
What
Almost
a crew.
there.
Whoop. All right, should we
All right, yeah, so if you,
you want me to get out? I can.
wait, hold on. Now you're good.
All right.
You made it.
Yeah, thank you.
You made it to the island.
Thanks for having me. This is so cool.
Thank you very much. All right, hey, you know what? If we don't see you, well, it's nice knowing you. Yeah. Yeah.
This is so great.
Oh, man. So, yeah, now you know what, Tamsin told you about.
Yeah, and
You've
so
got
you
friends
guys
that have been
a
here.
lot of people who come out here and camp, right?
Yes, I was actually just communicating with a lady. The weather today is amazing. I thought we would be doing this in the cabin in the rain.
Yeah, no, it's good.
But then tomorrow's supposed to be bad, so they were trying to figure out how to, cancel and then pick another day. It's crazy how booked it is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's all the time.
That's awesome.
It's super cool.
Well, Kevin and I've gotten into camping recently.
All right, well then you guys gotta come check it out. Now that you've done the recon.
We did 7 nights in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Whoa.
This summer.
Just the two of you.
Well, with the kids, but
that's
7
awesome.
Straight.
Right.
Right. No hotels in between.
Right. That's amazing.
Was
You guys
really
hiked
fun. Yeah, we hiked
like it
like
was
crazy.
tent camping every time. It's amazing. But you actually get a big honor. This is even
really?
bigger than as you probably imagined.
Uh-huh.
We've been dying to do one of our episodes
Oh,
up there.
on the roof? And
So
I
we're
get to
doing
do it?
rooftop deck. You're the first one.
All right.
It's a big deal.
Okay, I'm excited.
It's a really
So then
big deal.
I climb that ladder?
You got to climb that ladder, which honestly, the climb up is not nearly as terrifying as the climb down.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
right,
but we don't need to go right now. We'll get your sea legs under you.
That's really funny. I gotta document this.
Yeah.
For
But just
my,
wait.
My publicist will be impressed that I.
Yes. You've paddled over and now you're climbing up to. I mean, trust me.
This thing is beautiful.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go take a look.
Build it? Like
yes.
yourself?
Pretty much. I would say 95% of it was me. There's certain portions where, there's 4x8 wallboard pieces. There's certain things that are just not a 2-person job or a 1-person job.
The circular thing is so cool.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, I have a friend in DC who's an architect, Billy Putnam, who that was his design. I was like,
cool.
man, give me something that people are gonna be like, I gotta go see that, you know? All right, welcome back to Sharps Island, the podcast where we dive into the stories and people shaping Richmond, sometimes Richmond's past as well. Today I'm talking with someone whose books take you right into the Richmond history, lots of different histories. Rachel Beanland, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I mean,
all the way out here.
How cool is this, right? This is our first podcast on the rooftop deck. So that's
Which
exciting.
I had to climb on a ladder.
You had to climb on the ladder. The mayor wouldn't do it. Andrew Frieden wouldn't do it. I mean, this is a big deal. I say wouldn't.
I
Let's
win.
just say couldn't, didn't. You win. You absolutely win. So Rachel is the best-selling author of Florence Adler Swims Forever, right? That was your first novel?
Yep.
That was set in Atlantic City in the 1930s. And then your latest, The House is on Fire, which takes place in Richmond and reimagines the 1811 Richmond Theater Fire, right? One of the most dramatic, I guess, heartbreaking nights in the city's history. We'll get into all that.
Yeah.
Here it is, right here. The house is on fire, right past our foliage.
I love your foliage.
Yeah.
Your foliage is my favorite thing about this island.
So far, so good, yeah. So welcome.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Sometimes we do this. Depends on the guest. I think you're ready.
Okay.
Kind of warm up, icebreaker, before we get serious.
Okay.
You're a writer of historical fiction. That's what you do.
Okay.
This is a Two Truths and a Lie historical fiction edition.
Oh,
So,
all right.
Yeah,
okay.
and with a little bit of Richmond thrown in here. So I'll read 3 facts,
Okay.
but one of them is not a fact, and you've got to pick that
all
one
right,
out.
Stressful.
You
okay.
ready?
All right,
Okay.
yeah, I'm paying attention.
In the early 1900s, bathing suits for women were once weighed to ensure they weren't too light and revealing. That's one.
Okay.
In 1811, Richmond had exactly 1 fire engine for the whole city. And President Theodore Roosevelt was once fined for running a red light on horseback. Those are your 3 facts.
Oh my goodness. Wow. They're all kind of crazy. Even the fire one, I'm not 100% sure about because I'm sitting here thinking about my research and going, was there only one? Or, I mean, I know they didn't work, but they...
Right. But it's in there, Rachel.
But, yeah.
It's
all
in the
right.
research.
I think I'm going with the first one being a lie. That they weren't
No, it was the Richmond one. There were 2 fire engines.
There were 2 fire engines. Oh,
fire
darn it.
engines.
I can't even remember what I wrote.
That is fine because, we're just learning together here.
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh my gosh. Embarrassing.
So in 1811, in this book,
yeah, there were
the
2
big
fire
the
engines.
biggest fire.
And when we say fire engines, let's
Right.
be clear.
Yeah, what was the fire
They
engine?
were like wagons.
So whether there was 1 or none or 2 doesn't really
Yeah, it doesn't
didn't
really matter. And there was kind of a little hose type thing, but
Yeah, where did water pressure come
but
from?
they didn't have. Yeah, I mean, people were running to the river with buckets.
Right.
So the fire engine as a concept was still kind of coming into its own.
Okay, so sorry, we're going to get back to that game, but that was good.
Yeah,
That was a good
yeah,
warm up.
yeah.
Good icebreaker.
Okay.
I want to start with The House is on Fire. My wife has read both of your books. I have read this one. I'm going to go back and read Florence Adler
Thank
Swims
you.
Forever.
Thank you.
But let's start with The House is on Fire
Yeah.
because it is Richmond.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that book. It obviously hits close to home. 1811. Kind of give our viewers a little snapshot of the Richmond Theater Fire of 1811.
Right.
Give some context.
Yeah. There was one theater in town.
Right.
It was the Christmas season. The fire breaks out December 26th, 1811.
Wow.
Christmas season in Virginia, you have to remember we're in a mainly agrarian society.
Right.
So everyone's on farms, all throughout Virginia. But at the Christmas season, they would come to Richmond, because Richmond was a party scene,
Okay.
And you could do your politicking. The general legislature, they were in session.
Right.
People would shop, they'd hang out,
Okay.
they'd go to the theater.
Right.
And so there was this one theater, and that night, I mean, the show was oversold.
Wow.
There's 600 people in this very kind of simple building,
Right.
3-story brick
And
structure.
it's on Broad Street.
It's on Broad Street on
Right.
the site of Monumental Church,
Right.
which is still,
Kind of right there at the base
there
of
today.
VCU, right?
Yep.
Right.
And Monumental Church was, of course, built as a monument to those who had perished in the fire.
Right. Right.
But yeah, the theater was the place to be, and that particular night, it was just a terrible place to be.
Right.
Because a fire starts in the middle of the performance.
Right.
It's initially up in the fly space above the stage, so
Right.
the audience can't see it. The actors can see it, but not the audience.
Right.
And so that the actors are really sitting there trying to figure out: do we tell everyone?
Right.
Do we try to just keep people
I
calm?
love that part in your book when that sort of agonizing, your description of that whole, what is it, the fly space? It was like the thing
Yeah.
that controlled.
It's like where they've got all of the props and stuff, like up above the
Right.
actors' heads.
So there's, like,
they
pulleys
can
and
lift,
things that get-
yeah,
right,
they can lift
things.
curtains and lift, backdrops and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
And that's where the fire started.
Was it the deadliest fire in U.S. history at that point, or where did it sort of rank?
At that point, it was the biggest urban calamity
Wow.
that had ever befallen
In terms
the
of
United States.
deaths.
Like in terms of the number of people who died in one day.
How many was it?
It was 72 people. It's
Wow.
like I'm forgetting all my facts now
Yeah,
because it's
well,
been a
that was a
couple
while
years.
ago
But
now.
like, yeah, 72 people, I think, and most of them were women. Like 54 of them were women.
Wow.
Yeah. So
In a city of, I think I read Richmond's population was like 9,700.
yeah,
at that point.
it was very small. About 5,000 white residents and 5,000 free and enslaved black residents.
So there were free black residents as well. Interesting.
Yeah, there was actually
1811.
a thriving free black community in Richmond at that time.
Interesting.
It wasn't until closer to the Civil War that we started having a lot of legislation that made it difficult. If
Right.
an enslaved person had been manumitted,
Right.
they had to leave the state. But initially, in the early 1800s,
There was lots of them.
they could
Okay.
stay. Right.
So what drew you, like how did you hear about it and what made you say, all right, what a great jumping off point for...
I
A
learned
historical
about the
novel.
Richmond Theater Fire the very first day I showed up in Richmond.
No way.
Which is crazy.
Which is how long ago?
Because it took me 18 years to learn about Sharp's Island.
I mean,
but, you know.
That's a great point.
But no, I happened to have a realtor who was driving me around showing me neighborhoods and,
Right.
and we were
This
driving.
is, you said 2007?
2007,
Okay.
yeah. And we just happened to be driving toward Church Hill on
Okay.
Broad Street, and he points out the window at Monumental Church and he says, there used to be a theater here. And he knew the bare bones of the story.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew more than a lot of Richmonders know, because
Yeah.
I talk to people all the time who say, you
No
know,
idea.
until I read your book, I had no idea,
Right.
right? And I just kind of filed it away. I thought it was a fascinating story. And then it really wasn't until I had published Florence Adler, and then of course we went into lockdown,
Right.
you know, in 2020,
Right.
when I started thinking, I got to write something that's set in Richmond, because
Right.
I'm not going anywhere.
Right,
anytime
locked down.
soon.
Right.
And the nice thing about the Richmond Theater Fire was, you know, all the archives, everything I needed was right here.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
It's like a dramatic, tragic event, but it also revealed one of the cool things, and obviously one of the ways that, you know, historical fiction becomes more than just the story is like all the other things that it can reveal about a place, right? I mean, so for Richmond, you have race, class, politics, religion, right?
Yeah.
And very specific culture of that time, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how much work does it take to sort of get into that headspace? I mean, to learn
So
more than
much
just
work.
to
So
learn
much
more than
work.
just the facts, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like you do everything you can.
You read everything.
You read everything, you go to the archives, you look at original source documents, so you're reading letters and poems, and, you know, I'm looking at the cross-stitch samplers of, you know, women that are creating art about the fire. You know, I'm looking at all of it.
Everything.
And then I'm also reading a lot of fiction. You know, in addition to reading tons of nonfiction books, I'm reading fiction
Right.
set in the same time period,
Okay.
and, you know, that are fiction that's dealing with some of some similar issues,
Right,
or
right.
you know, just trying to figure out, like, where does my story kind of fit into the, like, broader American context, right? It was really fun to be kind of unearthing
Right.
this story that literally took place, you know, in the same streets that I walk every day,
Right.
but just 200
Well, and that
years
had to
earlier.
be such a draw for you, right? Like the idea that like Richmonders don't know anything about this, and this is like, it was historic, you know, across the country. It was a notable event,
Yes.
and nobody knows about it.
That was the part that was really shocking for me, was
Yeah.
once I started to do the research, I realized this was not just a little Richmond story.
Right,
This
right.
was like a huge national event. I
Right.
mean, it was in the headlines in papers in Boston and New York and Philadelphia for weeks and weeks
Right.
after the fire. You know, Congress wore black armbands after the fire for like a month. I mean,
Wow.
you know, just when you
Didn't
think...
the sitting governor of Virginia die in the fire?
Yes,
Right.
yes. I mean, it was like it had real political implications. I
Right.
mean, it was just a big deal.
Right.
And it's kind of funny to think that you can have something that's such a big deal, but then it can still over time just disappear
Right.
into the past, right?
Right. How do some things stick
Right.
as events that we talk about and others not?
Right.
That's
yeah.
strange.
Yeah. I had some people who came up to me who went to Fox Elementary School, you
Okay.
know, here in Richmond,
Right.
in the 50s. And they'd come up to me at book events and they said, you know, in the 50s, the Richmond Theater Fire was a part of our school curriculum.
That was taught.
And that was taught.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I think probably as schools kind of bent more toward like a national education curriculum,
yeah,
some
yeah.
of that local history fell
Interesting.
away, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're writing about real people from history, I mean, this is the ultimate question for historical fiction writers, right? Like, where do you draw the line with like sticking to the facts and letting, I mean, I don't know, is embellish the right word? I mean, at some point, you get to a point where you don't know, right? There's some like lapse in the historical record. And you're also trying to tell stories that are not necessarily, you're inventing some of it, right?
Right.
Like, where is that line? And what is like readers of historical fiction, what are their expectations on that front?
Yeah, well, so I think different writers approach it differently.
Yeah.
And I'm always surprised because sometimes I read novels where, you know, at the end you read some author's note and it's like, yeah, none of this is really based on the stuff that, you know.
Right.
And that's fair. It's their prerogative. But I do try to model, you know, my story as much as I can on the facts.
Right.
Like, you know, and then if I deviate from the facts for like a really specific reason,
Right.
then I try to make that clear to the reader that, you know, look for reasons of timing or, you know, something, I had to condense this or I had to
like you'll do that in
event.
like an author's note?
I'll
or
usually
something
try
like
to
that?
explain it if there's something that I change.
Got it.
But I don't feel bad. I mean, you know, if I'm writing about people who lived 200 years ago and I'm kind of staying true to their ethos.
Right.
And I use
that's the goal.
And I use the facts that I've got. Like I don't make up facts about them.
Right.
But then if I fill in what I think their lives might have been like in that space we don't know about, then I don't feel bad about that. Especially when it comes to writing women or people of color or people who weren't very well documented in the historical record.
Who was the
we're
the
never
slave
going to know
who
about
played
them.
the amazing role? What remind me his name?
Or Gilbert Hunt.
Gilbert
Yeah,
Hunt.
right.
Mm-hmm. Was he a freed black or was he a slave? No, he was
Well,
a slave.
I mean, I'll give away some stuff if I
All right,
tell
well,
you
yeah,
too
no
much
spoilers,
about that.
no
But
spoilers,
yeah, okay.
but there's
in
one.
my story, he is enslaved.
I would imagine you've got. I mean, there was a lot of details because people talked about what he did that night.
Yeah.
But you're still like you're not going to get a lot of details about what his life was like.
No, and I mean, even, you know, in particular with Gilbert Hunt's story, you know, the autobiography, and I'm kind of, for those who are listening on the podcast, I'm using finger quotes when I say it, was written by someone else. It was written by a white man, right?
The autobiography of
Gilbert
Hunt.
Hunt's autobiography was written by a white writer.
Right.
Who was, you know, living in pre-Civil War Richmond. And you know, the community was trying to document Gilbert Hunt's life because he had a remarkable life.
Right.
But you do always have to kind of ask yourself as a writer who's interrogating your sources, like, well, what was in it for who, you know, in terms of why they were writing certain things down and not others. And would Gilbert Hunt have felt like he could tell this guy what he really thought? You know? I mean, so you're always kind of asking those questions.
Yeah, I guess it's like, I guess you're trying to be emotionally truthful.
Yes.
Right? In a way, even if you can't be strictly truthful in the sense that there aren't the facts available to know.
Right.
And you're trying to tell a good yarn.
Yes,
at the same time.
I mean,
like,
that is true.
In the end,
you have to do that. Like, it's got to be something where people want to turn pages and care about these characters. And, you know, I'm not writing nonfiction. I'm inviting you into this entire world.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite things about it. It feels cinematic, the book, right? You're like, the chapters are shorter. You have a lot of, not a lot, but you have, it's not like you're following two characters. What is it, 7? It's
for this one, it's 4.
4. Florence Adler was more.
Florence Adler was 7, yeah.
But I love that, right? It's like, all right, what's going on with Gilbert? All right, what's going on with, who's the young lady?
Cecily.
Cecily.
Yeah. Cecily, Sally, Gilbert, and
Sally.
Jack.
And I was thinking it's like you're the moment you sort of go away from one, you're back in the moment of the other person.
Yeah.
And where were they during
I like
the fire?
that, the rotating points of view. The novel I'm working on right now is not rotating points of view.
Interesting.
And there are aspects that I miss because it's so fun to pop into lots of people's heads.
Yeah, it feels, like I said, it feels cinematic. Is that like, this would make an amazing movie. This book would make an amazing movie.
Call your peeps. Call anyone who's making movies.
My movie
you
peeps.
know?
Like,
just
how do we make this happen?
I mean,
we can do a podcast on an island on the
if
rooftop
you can,
deck. Why can't we make this? Because this would be an amazing movie. So,
if you can canoe out interview guests and interview them on this rooftop situation, then I feel like you can do this.
It's got everything. It's got drama.
I believe. I mean, what I
everything.
have heard is that it will be very expensive to make.
We
got to burn some stuff down. We got to,
convert
Richmond into a town that looks like it's in 1811.
Right.
You know, I mean,
generic 18. Well, yeah, we need some big donor. We need some big pockets.
we're
That's
gonna
what we
need some big pockets. We're gonna need like Steven Spielberg level pockets.
Spielberg
yeah.
pockets.
So work on it. Call
I'm
him.
gonna get to work on this.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I love this. I love this as a movie. I mean, it's really just about the right person reading it, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind
Should
of
we
is.
send it to DiCaprio or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I think I got that in the budget. send it. The house is on fire.
Cute reel.
Yeah, it'd be a cute reel.
That's a cute reel.
The idea of this as a movie makes a lot of sense. I don't know. Maybe we could how could we get the budget? Like, I don't know, claymation. What are those the South Park guys?
Yeah, that's what
Remember-
we need, like cutouts or something.
Right, remember that
yeah.
Team America movie? We could do marionettes.
I'm
Amazing.
game. You know.
All right, we'll think about it. All right, here's related. If you could time travel back to 1811 Richmond, where are you going to go and what do you do?
Oh Lord, I don't want to go back to 1811.
Oh, you have to. Okay.
I want to always live in a time period where penicillin is a thing.
That's the cutoff?
That is my cutoff.
That's the cutoff.
Yeah,
All right, well,
I need penicillin to be a
But
thing.
you know a lot about 1811 Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rockets Landing area was pretty
Be pretty cool.
cool. I mean, there was like stuff going on down there, you know.
Hey, related, was Edgar Allan Poe already alive in Richmond?
Yeah,
I feel
so
like,
this is very cool. Edgar Allan Poe, you know, his mother
right.
was an actress
Right.
in Richmond,
Right.
in this troupe, the same troupe that burned
Oh, wow.
the theater down.
She was there.
Well, she wasn't there because she had died the month before the fire. She died in November,
Wow.
and then
That's right, because he became an orphan.
Yes, he was orphaned.
Okay.
But until the point where he was orphaned, he had been like a little kid actor, you know, like running. He was 3 years old,
In this
and they
troupe.
and they'd throw him in the production
When they needed a
yeah,
kid.
when they needed a kid, and
That is crazy.
yeah. But so he and his sister were both adopted by Richmond families,
Right.
And
Allen, I think it was the Allen family. That's where he got his middle name.
I think they went to different families, if I remember correctly. But,
Yes.
But yeah. So, but that had all just happened.
So he was living in the city when the fire happened.
I would presume so. Yeah.
That's amazing to think that, like, if she didn't die, she would have been acting, and maybe he would have been there
Yeah,
that
he
night.
might have been in the building that night. I mean,
That is
you know, now all
so
the
cool.
actors, for the most part, they were, well, I don't want to give too much away, but
Right,
there
right.
was a stage door. So
Right.
he hopefully would have been fine. But could have really shaped his life in all kinds of interesting
in
ways.
so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. All right, your first novel, Rachel, was called Florence Adler Swims Forever. You have a daughter named Florence.
I do.
And it's based on a true story from your own family history.
Yeah.
So in terms of, like, you know, all right, how'd you find the Richmond Theater Fire? How did it occur to you to have a family history that you're like, I'm going to turn this into a historical novel?
It was like this, there was this.
When was this?
Yeah,
When
so
did your brain
I
click
had-
on for this?
I had a great aunt
Okay.
named Florence. Her name
Okay.
was Florence Lowenthal.
Is that who your daughter's named after?
Yes,
Awesome.
right. And there are a couple Florences in the family, but she was training to swim the English Channel.
Right.
She lived in Atlantic City.
What year
This
would
was,
have been?
she died in 1929.
Wow.
She was home from college for the summer, went out for a training swim, and drowned off the coast of Atlantic City.
Okay.
Was doing a lot of open water swimming in preparation for swimming the English Channel. Really, really good swimmer. And
That's crazy. 100 years ago, a woman, how many could there have been?
1929. So yeah, almost 100 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. And this was, to place you in time a little bit, I didn't realize this until I started doing the research, but Trudy Adderley was the first woman to ever
Gertrude
swim
Adderley, right.
the English Channel, and she did it in 26.
Wow.
So it was very much like
So
something that people were aware of
she had
and
this
wanted to
inspiration.
do. Yeah,
You're
she had
great-
been
you're great
inspired by
aunt.
her for sure, you
Right.
know. But anyway, she drowned that summer. And my great grandmother her sister was pregnant that summer, and she was in the hospital on bed rest.
Right.
And the family made the decision not to tell her that her sister had died,
Right.
because they didn't want to risk her losing the baby, and it was 1929, and you just never knew with these
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
right? And so I always knew that I had this person in the family who had drowned, but I also just knew that the family had kind of worked together to keep her death a secret from her surviving sister.
Right.
And they didn't, tell her until after she had a baby. So like, I was fascinated by that.
crazy,
I was
right, like
really,
personal.
always very fascinated by that.
Right.
So when I was ready to really bite off my first novel,
Right.
I knew that I had to do
It had to be
something
this, 'cause it
with
was so personal.
Yeah, it was very personal.
Being from Philadelphia, I love, like I've been to Atlantic City many times, but it's modern in Atlantic City. And from your descriptions, it's a very different place.
Nothing like it.
I mean, it
yeah,
could not be more
Atlantic
different.
City. I mean, you know, it's funny. I usually go on all these research trips and really try to see like the place. And I did go to Atlantic City, but almost nothing remains of the Atlantic City that I wrote about, you know, in the book.
Which in some ways makes it even more fascinating. Like, all right, so I have some from your book, and then I started Googling around and trying to find some details about Atlantic City. Lifeguards in the 1930s, and you tell me this could be like 6 truths. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hopefully
okay,
I have
all
these right.
Uh-huh.
They enforced bathing suit modesty laws.
That's
So
true.
women could be fined if their bathing suits didn't cover like a certain amount of leg.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if they were doing that in the 30s. Is that what you found?
That's what I found, but
maybe 20s. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know when they
20s,
stopped.
right.
You know, but definitely around that time
Amazing.
period.
So like there
were.
were literally bathing suit cops there.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
which is-
and lifeguards, like the kind of original lifeguard force was like a subset of the police force.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, people probably don't remember this, but the Miss America pageant was like inextricably linked to Atlantic City,
Yep.
and always took place in Atlantic City. And
They had a
in, like-
parade on the boardwalk.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. And they were doing, but the thing, my favorite detail was that the contestants were measured with tape measures to ensure that they met exact body proportion standards. This was in 1930. Isn't that amazing?
I believe it. If I researched that, I forgot it, but for
Yeah,
good
and I don't
reason.
remember. Not all of these were like in your book, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
jumping
yeah.
off points from your book to
Yeah.
like Atlantic City. It once had a rolling chair taxi
Yes.
service. Is this that was
Yes,
in the book?
and the rolling chairs are still a thing in Atlantic City.
Really?
They've kept those.
God, I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah.
On the boardwalk. Monkeys. Do you know about the monkeys that were used as lifeguards in promotional stunts? They were trained to like swim out to rescue people.
I did not see that.
Dude,
no,
I mean,
I don't
Jersey.
remember. Yeah, I mean,
What-
I'm not surprised. I like the diving horses were a big thing,
Right.
and they're, you know, I mean,
What was it from Hamilton? Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Everything's legal in Jersey.
yeah.
Monkeys, trained monkeys. Boardwalk food. This is near and dear to my heart as, you know, like a Philadelphian that's been to a lot of Jersey boardwalks. It was clams, oysters, and saltwater taffy. There was really like the big things. There's no funnel
Peanuts,
cake.
planters, peanuts was
right.
a big thing in
No
Atlantic
funnel
City.
cake.
Yeah, well, we
so-
really, none of us need funnel cake, so.
Yeah, need and you know, like emotionally, do I need funnel cake? Yeah. Like if someone handed me
I
one
don't
right
even
now.
know that you emotionally
If
need
someone
funnel
handed you a
cake.
funnel cake right now, can you imagine on the podcast?
If they got it all the way to the island,
We're
and
eating
then
that
all
funnel
the way
cake.
up to this
We are
rooftop.
eating that funnel cake. Yeah. Speaking of funnel cake, I think the Virginia State Fair going on right now. Should do an episode from there with funnel cake. Right, we're doing that. And not surprisingly, it was the wettest city in America, bootlegging capital.
Yes,
during
that is
Prohibition.
true. And Boardwalk Empire, of course, like
Right.
captures that
Captures that.
beautifully.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you talk about like a bygone. That might be the best way to see the place that does not exist anymore. That Atlantic City. I want to talk about historical fiction generally. How did you always wanted to be a writer? You were a writer, and then you were going to write a novel. Why did you decide on historical fiction? I guess there's an argument to be made that every book is historical fiction,
Yeah.
right? Because there has to be some grounding.
I have like mixed feelings about the term even historical
Okay.
fiction, because I think that what ends up happening, and this is not to say you know, I'm not upset that
No,
you're
please,
calling it
please
historical
be upset.
fiction.
That's good for
But
ratings.
yeah, we're gonna boost ratings by
Right,
having
right.
us get into a brawl on the
Oh my God,
rooftop.
That'd be incredible.
But yeah, historical fiction tends to be a kind of marketing term that gets used a lot with women
Right.
writers and
Oh,
not with
interesting.
male writers.
Really?
And the reality is most of us are always writing about history, right?
Right.
Like everything that's not contemporary is set in the past, even if it's set 2 years in the past or 4 years in the past.
Maybe
or
some
whatever.
science fiction doesn't fit, but
Right.
A lot of books do.
A lot of books do. And certainly if you're writing about World War II or you're writing about 1811 or whatever. But I tend to just gravitate toward the stories and then go from there. And
Right.
so, you know, with Florence Adler, the story needed to be set in the 30s because that was what, I was writing about this drowning.
right.
With the Richmond Theater Fire, I had to set it in 1811 because
Right.
that's when it was,
Right.
But I'm not really tied to idea of writing historical fiction. I just really want to keep following the story.
Okay.
Wherever it goes.
Gotcha. I feel like books like yours are kind of having a moment, or maybe they have been having a moment. I don't know. They seem popular. What a publisher, like your publisher, are they looking for books like this? Am I accurate?
No, I mean, I don't know what they're looking for.
Okay.
I mean, like, it's very hard to predict with the publishing industry, and they always do say that, like...
Except for Romantasy, by the way.
Romantasy's doing great.
That's really big. They want that.
But they, also, by the time a writer sits down to write a book, you're going to work on it for 2-3 years and then go to sell it, and then it takes a year to print it and get it out to people. And by that time, who even knows what the trend will be? It's kind of impossible to predict. You've got to just write whatever it is that you want to write and hope that by the time it comes out, there will be an audience for it.
Right.
And I think for me, I just try to focus on writing the best book I can write, something that I'm passionate about. And I think my publishers, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think that they're happy if I'm out there talking about a book that I'm excited about and that, I put my heart into.
Well, and I mean, no matter where you set it or how sort of historically based it is, it's got to connect to readers in 2025, to your point, right? Like, it might be set in 1811 and the details might draw people in, but the characters have to relate, right? I mean,
at the end of the day, you're just writing about people. In any circumstance, right?
But how hard is that? I mean, the farther back you go, like, it's not just that the details were so different, but the culture was different, right? Like, how do you make those people relevant to today?
Well, and that's the trick, right? Because you've got to like blend these two worlds, right? Like, that there's
the modern world?
Yeah, there are certain social rules that they would have been following in 1811.
Right.
But the book is still going to be read by people in 2025, and so you're always walking that tightrope of like, well, okay, they would have said this in this peculiar way in 1811, but we don't want to really hear people speak like that, so I'm going to kind of zhuzh it a little, right? So I do find that I'm often kind of walking that line. But the other thing you have to remember is, like, people still always, even in the past, it's like they still loved people, they still fought, they still wanted to get with people, they still all the things, right? But they maybe couldn't talk about it so openly, or they were still kind of on the surface.
It didn't enter the historical record as often.
Right. They wouldn't have written to their sister about it, maybe, or whatever. Yeah.
What's the next book you're going to write?
I am working on a book that is set in La Maddalena, Italy, in the 1970s.
Where is La Maddalena, Italy?
It is an island off the northern coast of Sardinia.
You got to set a book here.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Okay. Next book will be set on Sharps Island in the middle of the James River in Richmond, Virginia.
Off the coast of Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, off the coast of Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, literally.
Anyone who's listening to this who does not know their Virginia geography does not know how ridiculous that is.
That's right. A little bit ridiculous.
But yeah, so it's set in between 74 and 76, and it follows
1970s.
A young woman who is a Navy wife and goes to La Maddalena with her husband, who is working on a submarine tender. There were a bunch of nuclear-powered submarines.
So it takes place in Italy, but you're leaving on Monday to go to Germany for 3 months to research this book.
Well, not to research it, but just to work on it. Yeah, I have a writing fellowship in Germany, and it's at a
Where in Germany?
Scientific institute. It's in Bremen.
Bremen, Germany. Okay. So why do they want you?
Well, they liked. I think it's pretty cool. They like to always have one fiction writer hanging out with all the scientists and kind of like picking up scientific details, scientific information that they can then weave into their fiction, so that the science is right. And here I am writing about nuclear-powered submarines, and I've had to
need some expertise.
I've had to teach myself everything I know about nuclear reactors.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, wow, what a cool. So you'll be in Germany for 3 months.
So we'll be in Germany for 3 months.
Are you going to go to Italy too? Have you been to? How do you pronounce it?
La Maddalena.
La Maddalena.
Yeah,
Have you been
went
there?
to La Maddalena last year with my mom and siblings on a research trip, and so probably no. I probably won't go.
Don't need to go
again. I mean, I'd love to go at some point when we're doing book promotions, or if the book is published in Italy, that would be super fun. But yeah, I'm probably going to focus on other locations right now.
Would you ever come back to Richmond for like the inspiration for another
Yeah, I mean,
or do
I
you feel like, all right, I've done
definitely
Richmond?
would. No, I would. It's just got to be the right story, you know?
Right.
And so sometimes Richmonders are always like, they're pitching me stories.
Oh, really?
you
That's
know,
kind of fun.
Which is fun.
Come on. I bet you get some amazingly
and
terrible
sometimes
ideas.
I'm like, it's not bad.
It's not terrible.
Right. So who knows? Maybe.
When they're pitching you.
I'll wait for the next pandemic, the next time I can't travel.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. What are they pitching you? Like, what do Richmonders want to see written about? Like, what
I've
time
gotten
period?
a lot of people who have told me I need to write about the trolley car that got stuck under
in Churchill?
Libby Hill, Churchill.
Yeah, in that area.
Right, which sounds like it was a real tragedy. And,
Yeah, it's crazy.
but I don't want to just like maybe only stick to like horrific tragedies
Richmond, right.
in Richmond, right?
What about Poe? I mean, talking about Poe, do you know about his swim? Do you know the swim he did?
What did he?
Where
did he swim?
We talk about this. So we had Maeve Jones, who's the executive director of the Poe Museum. She was on.
Did you make her climb up to the?
No, she was down at the bar. No, this is big for you. This is really big. She was telling us about, so Poe, when he was like 15, did something like a 6 or 7 mile downriver swim, he claims, against the tide. So this was like not long after your theater fire.
Yeah.
I think it was like 1819, 1820, somewhere in there. And they don't know where exactly he left from, so I like to imagine him leaving from Sharp's Island, because
why not?
literally probably left from like Rockets.
Yeah.
What they called Rockets Landing was actually, really right downtown. Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy.
Well, and
he's been written about a
my
lot.
research says that there were a lot of tanneries in like the Rockets Landing area.
Yep.
And the tanneries were really gross.
Yeah.
In that they were dumping all kinds of
Can only imagine.
crap into the river.
But
So that should have been some swim.
Yeah, but it's like he made all his friends, like he wrote about it. There were like he made sure it got documented.
That's awesome.
He was like, he was
proud of it.
He was very proud of it.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And he's a massive weirdo, so what a fun guy to write about.
I know. I'll add it to my list.
All right, here you go. Here's a fun one. If you could collaborate with any, I don't know, I know you don't like it, but a historical fiction writer, person that you think of as writing similar kind of stuff, living or dead, who would you choose? And what book would you write?
Oh, I don't know what book I'd write, but I really like Geraldine Brooks as a writer, and she writes a lot of historical fiction, and she also writes some stuff that has connections to like Jewish history, and she'd be a
What's her best known novel? Or your favorite?
She wrote Horse recently, but she wrote Book of Wonders. Am I getting it right? That I loved. You know who'd be amazing?
Cool. Who I really like, Hilary Mantel. Did you ever read any of those books?
Yeah, she's great, but she's dead. So.
Wolf Hall. Well, I said Living or Dead.
I can pick Living or Dead. Yeah.
But okay, that would be hard.
That would be harder.
Yeah,
Geraldine Brooks is alive and well, to my knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I might choose her.
Do you know the guy I'm kind of obsessed with right now? He only has a couple of books, but do you know Hernan Diaz?
Oh yeah.
I'm reading that book Trust.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a historical fiction, like it's set in the 20s, 30s.
And then
In
the Distance was
In the Distance is amazing.
Yeah, also very historically based,
right, like
and
Western. I love that guy. Have you read those books?
Yeah, he's great.
He's amazing. So that would be me.
I like it.
All right, let's see. All right, lightning round.
Okay.
This is big. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm not going to ask you what your favorite dad joke is, because that doesn't make any sense.
I can't recall them. Kevin, my husband, makes dad jokes constantly, but they go in one ear and out the other because
he's a college professor. I'm trying to think, like maybe we get him out here. But math's kind of boring.
He can make it fun.
You would make it fun?
Yeah, he can do it. He can
Don't tell him I said math.
No.
Yeah. My kids love math.
Yeah.
All right, last book you couldn't put down.
Ooh, well, okay. Right now I'm reading a book I can't put down.
What is it?
Virginia Evans, The Correspondent, which is this is a really interesting book because it came out in I think January.
Okay.
And it just hit the New York Times bestseller list this week.
That doesn't happen.
And the reason is because it's all word of mouth. People are reading it and they are just loving it,
The Correspondent
and they are telling their friends.
Virginia
Evans.
What's quick plot synopsis?
It's an older woman, and the book is telling the story of her life through the letters she writes to people. And
Okay.
sometimes there's some letters she receives,
Right.
but she's a real correspondent. And so she is sitting down at her desk every day and writing these letters, and we're just kind of slowly piecing together her life.
Sounds kind of like Lincoln in the Bardo, where you're trying to. Did you read
I
that
haven't
book?
read that, but yeah, I know what
it's
you're
like
talking about.
all like people's letters, and and it takes a while to come together, like for them to all kind of cohere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then when it does, it's like so rewarding.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, historical figure you would love to have coffee with.
Oh God. Okay. Lightning round. I just have to say the
It's
first
lightning
thing that
round.
comes
Boom.
to mind.
Go.
I guess Eleanor Roosevelt.
It's a good one.
I do Eleanor Roosevelt.
What about Abigail Adams? That lady had opinions. I don't
Okay,
know.
fine. I mean, I'd be interested to, yeah.
My
like,
son's doing AP US history, and it's like fun to, like check in and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about like this thing. And you're like, oh yeah, Abigail Adams, that lady was cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, there were a bunch of cool women in history, and they just kind of never got their due. So,
Right.
like, bring them all.
Eleanor
like,
Roosevelt would be cool.
Yeah.
All right, one word to describe Richmond in 1811.
In 1811. Okay. Oh my God.
Fire prone.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Dangerous.
There were a lot of ways you could die in Richmond in
dirty,
1811.
filthy,
Duels,
right,
fires,
fires
sickness,
were like the scourge of that age, right?
Yeah,
like, no matter where you
yellow
were,
fever, like whatever. You pick your poison.
Yeah, what's the worst way to go in 1811?
There
right?
were
Like,
lots,
there's so
lots
many.
and lots of ways.
All right, historical event you would never write about.
There are some that I'm too close to, like for instance, the pandemic.
Okay.
Which is obviously going to become a gigantic historical event.
Right.
I feel like I don't want to go back to that time,
Yeah.
and so I don't want to write about it.
I gotcha.
You know.
I feel like the correct answer was the sinking of the Titanic because Kate and Leo.
They already did it, and it's been done
it's
quite
like,
exceptionally.
You can't do better than those two.
That's true. That's true. I probably will not write about
All right,
the Titanic.
no Titanic. Plus, there's like a couple other things written about it.
Yeah, I think the Titanic has had
that
its share of limelight.
That ship has sailed.
That.
Yeah. All right,
Very bad
favorite
pun.
movie based on a work of historical fiction.
Oh God. Okay, this is a little obscure, but I was just recommending the movie the other day. Jonathan Troper's "This Is Where I Leave You."
I love that book.
I loved the book,
And the movie is amazing.
And so often,
My wife and I love that book.
so often when you watch the movie after you've read the book, you're
Right.
like, no, doesn't hold up.
It's the book.
Doesn't whatever. But I thought the movie was
Yeah.
like every bit as charming as the book.
The movie is the book.
Yeah.
Adam Driver.
And I love them both kind of equally almost.
Is Jason Bateman in it?
Yeah.
Adam Driver. I mean, like nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
This Is Where I Leave You.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great choice. All right, we did it.
Thank you.
Congrats.
This was so fun.
That was awesome. What's the timing on the next book? Like you're doing the research
I think it is coming out next summer.
this coming summer.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
26.
So I mean, like I would imagine the pressure's on.
Yeah.
How much?
Yeah,
have you
there's
written?
like a deadline every day, I feel like,
Really?
different versions, different edits, different everything.
That's a personal deadline?
No, it's with my publisher.
from the publisher,
Yeah,
okay.
they've got stuff they want turned in and,
Okay.
copy edits and all that kind of stuff. So.
What? How much have you written?
Oh, I've got a full draft.
Oh,
At this
okay.
point, yeah.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
But so now we're refining.
It's all refining now.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be longer than the last two?
It
Shorter?
it is a bit of a beefcake. Yeah, it's big.
How many pages is it going to be?
I don't know how many pages it'll be but in Word, it's longer than my other books.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I gotcha. All right, look at this. Look
This
at how
is cool.
Isn't it crazy how look at the title. People don't think of Richmond as being tidal. Look at the range. Like that's high tide.
Yeah, I didn't
Isn't that
think of that
amazing?
at all. Of course,
Like,
yeah.
You couldn't like when I got here, and that wasn't much
And
before
well, we
you.
didn't have to dodge all these rocks.
That's what I'm saying.
same
There was
way.
like the top of that rock was basically it.
Yeah.
When we first got here.
Wow, that is
Isn't that
a high tide.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Actually, here, I'll tell you what.
You want me to get in?
No,
Wait,
I'm
which
gonna
one?
take it out and around because
Okay.
This is not a good spot to.
I wore my water shoes on purpose.
Well, that might come in handy here. Let's see.
Yeah, it was very nice to meet you too.
I'm gonna get in first because that's the back.
I couldn't believe how short the ride was.
I know, it's nice and easy.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Give you a little.
Yeah,
Little
give us a
push. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.